All opinions and views expressed by the speakers are not representative of views and opinions of RBC Dominion Securities, Inc. All information and opinions provided in this video are in good faith, but without legal responsibility.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for all those who were able to join us live in this cold, almost winter day. Really appreciate you making the time to join us for this webinar. I will sort of start with a little bit of the agenda. The agenda for this webinar is, after my welcome remarks, Manal is going to take over. Her presentation is going to last about 30 minutes or so, and then we're going to have about 10-15 minutes after that for Q&A, questions, any questions. Please feel free to email me any questions that you have as the presentation is going. Many of you have already emailed me your questions, so thank you for ones who have emailed me, but anyone who does have any questions while the presentation is going, please feel free to email them to me. My email address is karim.visram@rbc.com. Again, Karim, K-A-R-I-M .visram@rbc.com, and I'll make sure that I'll address it with Manal, any questions that you may have. As you can tell, we are recording this presentation, and we're hoping to have it emailed out, sent out, and posted on our website in about a week to 10 days time. So look out for that email recording, and please feel free to forward it to whoever you may want to forward this to. Now, without further ado, let me introduce my special guest speaker here today, Manal Russell. Manal Russell is a Senior Director of the Global Cybersecurity Awareness and Education Team here at RBC. She has been with RBC since October 2020 and currently leads the global programming that helps RBC to stay cyber safe, which is a very important topic nowadays. The Global Cybersecurity Awareness and Education Team creates campaigns that provide timely and relevant content that addresses the everyday cyber issues that we all encounter today. Manal has over 25 years experience in communication and organizational change management, and over 10 years experience in cybersecurity awareness. Without further ado, Manal, thank you and welcome. Take it away.
Thank you, Karim. Appreciate the introduction, and hello, everyone. Thank you for spending the next hour with us as we talk about cybersecurity. I'm going to walk us through the agenda. So we've gone through the welcome. We're going to hit up first the key criminal tactics that cyber criminals use to get to us. And then we'll talk about some security tips that we advise everyone to use, our employees and our clients alike, and you can share with your friends and family. They're useful for everyone. And then we'll quickly look at, okay, so if you've experienced something, how do you respond? We'll talk a little bit about, bragging about what we do for you, so our digital trust and how RBC keeps you safe. And then, hoping you stick around for this, we are going to talk about the top 7 scams that we've seen proliferate everywhere throughout 2024. So there's 7 scams that we'll talk through to make you aware of. And then we'll share some resources and we'll close after that, and open to questions rather. All right, so I'll dive right in. Okay. So the key tactic that cyber criminals use is, and bear with me, I'm sure you're going to think, okay, what is this touchy-feely stuff that she's getting into? It's emotional manipulation. And so I'll give you an example. It's a personal one. This just happened to me. Now, as you heard from Karim, that I live and breathe this work. I've been doing it for 10 years. I talk about it, I read about it, I research. This is my life. I was on the way home And I had to get off a stop earlier off the subway to get some special ingredients to make dinner. I get an email from my son's school. I forgot to pay for a certain activity. And then I get a text. Don't forget to deposit $287 from your refund through the CRA. It was such a small number and an odd number that I thought, oh gosh, yeah, okay, I have to do this. I clicked on the link because I was rushing. I wasn't paying attention. I was thinking about money and how much money was going out of my account. And I thought, oh my gosh, this is coming in. I want that. I will click on it. Luckily, I stopped myself before I started entering because I know well enough what the CRA landing page looks like. And this was not it. And immediately reported the fraudulent text. But all this to say that the emotional manipulation piece is the #1 tactic that they use to get to our information and our finances. So as much as it sounds bizarre, we just tell people to take a breath, slow down, and don't rush through your texts, your emails, your online shopping. Just take it slow and make sure you pay attention to those links, those instructions, those websites. All right, so that's the main tactic. Now, I'm going to go into 5 key things that we advise everyone to look at when they're navigating their digital lives. And so the first one is using strong passwords and authentication. Now, I know passwords sounds like the easiest, simplest thing. And of course, we have good passwords. Well, we try to tell everyone, and actually within our organization, we have a minimum requirement, minimum characters of 10. So our staff need to have a minimum 10 character password in order for it to be strong. And then it also has to have uppercase and lowercase characters, symbols and numbers, and interspersed amongst all of that so that it's not something obvious like winter 2024. So instead it could be, if you want to have winter in it, you say winter dash hashtag at 57 dash mouse. And then it's obscure and bizarre enough that criminals will have a harder time cracking that. That would take them several years. So that's why we always put it at the top of the list. Now, the other authentication pieces is your what we call two-factor or multi-factor. That just means it's the second step of questions. So when you're asked to set up your personal security questions, make sure those are personal enough to you, but then not containing any information that you may have posted online. So your dog Scooter's birthday was July 21st. And you posted it because you were celebrating. Well, if you've got that as your password or as part of your security questions, that's easily guessable. So make sure the content of your security questions is not something that you've posted through your other social outlets. And as you can see, there's a lot of other instructions there that we will share with you through the recording once we send it along to you. All right, moving along.
Manal, just
Yes.
one question I have is on the password. And I know you and I know in my case, I've got about 30 passwords that I got to keep track of, right?
Yes.
Hopefully, most of the listeners don't have 30 passwords to keep track of, but most of us at least have 3 or 4 or 5, if not more, passwords.
Yes.
Any recommendation as to how they can manage? The default is make all the passwords the same.
Right.
But that's probably not. Do you have any recommendation as to how you manage this password and how you generate or whatever? Any suggestions?
Yes. So we do recommend using a password manager. I can't recommend a specific one. All I can say there is that use a reputable one offered by a company you already know. So Norton Antivirus, if you've got that in your systems already, they probably have a password manager. Don't use something because it's cheap and was, off of a discounted whatever. Make sure it's a reputable company. Do the research, right? Look into it, see what it's all about. There's usually information about if there is a bad password manager out there, there'll be news about it. And then what I've started doing is just minimizing how many things I have a password for. So, we've all signed up for a million things. I've started just closing out accounts So I, don't use any of the food delivery apps, for example. I've knocked all of those off my list. Just reduce it, right? Like, why do we have to have so many accounts open everywhere? So my advice is definitely reduce the amount of passwords that you have to memorize, but definitely use a password manager if you do have a lot. Good question, though.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. All right. So yes, please remember, folks, if you have any questions, please email them to Karim and we'll answer them as we go along here. All right. So I mentioned antivirus. So protect your devices. That's a really important step in your self-protection. Make sure your software is up to date. So whenever your alerts come in to say that your software needs updating, don't ignore that. Please update, because what happens is they then figure out if there was a vulnerability, something that was easily hacked in a previous version. They've gone ahead and fixed that. And you need to make sure that's on your machines as well, so that you're protected. Just with that also, again, just make sure you're using reputable products, reputable antivirus programs, and not something just because it was really cheap or a good sale. One flag is if it's too good to be true, it probably is. So that's the mantra we run with, but definitely protect your devices. All right, this is a big one because we're finding increasingly that attacks happen more often than not through unsecured networks. So it's best to don't use your financial information when you're out and about using Wi-Fi networks that are free, at the library or at the mall or at the airport. Just don't do anything, any transactions that will then allow for your personal information to be stored on there. And so that for us has been something that we champion across the organization. Don't use free wireless networks. They're not protected. Wait till you're home or in a protected Wi-Fi area, for example, RBC Bank, to handle anything that is of a personal or financial nature.
So, Manal, sorry, another sort of a question on that. Yes. So you're referring to networks you see at Starbucks or Timmy's or places like that. Do not, now any suggestion, if someone had to connect to that,
like if it was an emergency.
Right.
So ensure you have a virtual personal network, VPN, virtual personal network, and you can download those, again, reputable apps onto your phone so that when you are going to use Wi-Fi, it goes through this personal network. And so you're protected. It's like a barrier between yourself. You can still access the Wi-Fi, but then it doesn't then go back in to leave access open for
so not everyone can access or see what you're doing, I guess.
That's right. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. What I do, I know this is a suggestion. What I do is I generally feather my own data, personal data to that, as opposed to using Starbucks or whatever data or airport data or whatever, or Wi-Fi. I use my own personal.
Yeah, that's what I do too. I know it's not convenient for everyone. We strongly recommend you stay away from free networks. It's a hotbed. It is the easiest thing for hackers to get through.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. So another tactic that we ask everyone to make sure they start getting in the habit of is backing up your data, so that if your system is compromised and it gets wiped, you have your valuable data. Usually it's pictures, but anything else that you run for your finances that you need, make sure that data is backed up somewhere. I prefer a drive personally, like a physical external hard drive. A lot of people do use OneDrive or iCloud so that it's out there and it's protected, but it's not sitting on your machine in case your machine gets compromised and then all of that information gets taken away from you and it's irretrievable. So if it's backed up somewhere, you're safe. So I highly recommend people do that.
So now I've just got a question on the same thing, a backup, what you just suggested. So there's two options. So this question coming from one of the attendees is, what's the pros and cons obviously the pro of your hard drive is you possess the data yourself. You have the data. The disadvantage is not mobile. You got to carry it with you if you, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Versus the cloud is a little bit more accessible, but there's a cost. But so as far as security is concerned, safety between the two, any thoughts or pros and cons between using one of the cloud services, whether it be Apple, Amazon, or whatever, versus having your own hard drive? Any thoughts? This question coming from one of the viewers.
Yeah, thank you. Yes, it's a good question. So I would categorize them in this way. So your external hard drive is probably your safest bet. That's the first one. Next safest would be the iCloud or OneDrive, so that it's not on your machine. And then third is if you have to, if you've left it on your machine, that's fine. It's just that the machine is the easiest thing for them to access and gain control of. Because unless you have, again, reputable software protection, hardware protection on there, it is the easiest thing to take over. But the hard drive, right, if you unplug it, the external hard drive, that's impenetrable. That you only use when you need to back up, that's safe right there. It's, barring any other natural disasters, heaven forbid. So that's how I would categorize them. So the safest is the external hard drive, the iCloud, OneDrive, anything in the cloud is next, and then the third is the actual machine's hard drive.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, good question. I'm going to add that to the presentation next time. Is categorizing the safety. All right. So we live in a world where everything is digital. We are trying to tell people, okay, and especially for kids, right? Stranger danger from the real world applies to the digital world. So, if you don't know the person, then why are you accepting an email from them? If someone approaches you and you have no idea where they're coming from, don't accept any links, don't open any attachments from them. Just be skeptical. And if you're not sure, ask for help, but the best thing to do is just disengage. If it's a call, someone's asking you for personal information, please know the bank will never do that. Unsolicited, just hang up, disengage, do not interact with whatever it is. And then if you've received an email and you're able to send it to the Canadian Anti-Fraud Center, please do that, or Equifax if it's an identity-related issue. But skepticism, healthy dose of skepticism will go a long way in this.
So just just on the question on this here. So one of my staff also asked was, how do you make sure that it is, because when you look at, the way I used to check the email address that is coming from. And a lot of times that is very difficult to tell now. The bad guys are very good in disguising that. So is there a better way of telling what to click, what not to click? Is there or anything that's suspicious, just don't do it, just delete it?
Just if it's suspicious, just delete it. The email is still a good indicator, right? It's very challenging for them to replicate exactly an email. So you look for inconsistencies, right? If it says Royal Bank, check, is there an extra R in there? Because we glance at these things. We don't take them in very deeply. And so that's what they're relying on. Again, it's just our human habits of, okay, that's from Karim. It says RBC right there, but I didn't look close enough and it's 2 R's instead of just 1 for RBC, right? So definitely check the email address itself. If you're not expecting it, that's a red flag. If it's asking for something urgent, you have to send this to me right away. Otherwise, it's going to collections, or the lawyers are involved, or the police, or your offer is going to expire. Anything urgent is a massive red flag. So don't engage with anything that's causing any kind of, as soon as you feel like your butterflies go, this is when you just trust yourself. Say, okay, this doesn't seem right.
Okay. Just a follow-up question to that before, so I got another viewer, sent email the follow-up question to that. And just a reminder, please email me if there's any questions as we go along. This particular viewer is asking, how do the bad guys, how do they manipulate this email address? I'm not sure whether you can answer that question or not, but they must have some technology. Is that fair to say? There's some software, some technology that they can
absolutely
come up with these close enough email addresses that are very deceptive.
Yeah, I mean, creating email addresses is easy enough, right? They can create that, they can set up their own websites, and then the website have an email feature. And then the email feature, they can set it up to have any emails they want with it, so it can appear as anything that they want it to. So it's all about technology. And I think the one thing we want to really stress is that this isn't just one person or 10 people sitting around randomly thinking, I'm going to commit this crime and I'm going to use this website and whatever. This is big business. There are buildings with entire fleets of employees who do nothing but all day figure out how to attack people digitally. And so they share programs with each other. They sell each other people's data. It is an entire industry into the about $3 trillion worth of dollars into this world. Yeah. So it's not just, we have this image of cybercrime being this kind of like low level activity. It is big business. People are making millions and millions and millions of dollars off of this. And they're selling each other this technology that's enabling them to do this.
So it's almost like you're describing the new version of organized crime.
Precisely. You nailed it. That's exactly what it is. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Take organized crime and put it on the web, and that's what it is.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
New things every day. Sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead, Manal.
Yeah. Okay, so we talked about the main tactics that you can use to protect yourself, and then what happens if you're in the event that you are attacked? You need to know what to do. All right. So the first thing is we tell everyone, make a plan. So your first step is cut off contact. Don't continue engaging with the caller or the email. Just hang up. Call for help. First thing you do, especially when it's related to your finances, is you call your trusted advisor. Call Karim. And then report the scam to either the local police or the Canadian Anti-Fraud Center. Why it's important to report? It's because then the more you report, the more the officials can learn the different tactics that these criminals are employing. And then we learn ways to best defend against them. And so it's a cat and mouse race, I know, but reporting it is extremely important, just as important as, when you call for help. So make a plan. All right. So a couple of slides, just letting you know that you are safe with RBC, right? All banks actually do not ask a client to disclose PINs, security codes, anything of that nature. If we do need to ask for any info, use short codes via text. And when in doubt, whenever you get a call and it's from the bank and there's something suspicious about it, just hang up and call the number you normally call. It's usually on the back of your client card. That's the official number, and talk to someone directly rather than relying on whoever's on the other side.
And just to add to this, right, Manal, most banks, including RBC, we will never ever call clients to ask for any information. Right. No, so banks will never ever say if anyone gets a call from a client from a bank asking for information, just hang up.
Just hang up. Yeah. We never do that. All the banks. I actually sit on a committee of my peers, and we talk about all the different scams that are happening, check to see if others are experiencing the same thing, and we all have the same policies. All the banks, rely on strict privacy policies. We respect your privacy. We want to protect it. We invest heavily in new technologies to combat the criminals that are out there. We have 24/7 fraud experts, 100% online security guarantee, and we educate our employees as well as our clients. And we continuously try and put out content to help you. We have a scam alerts page. Feel free to email me. I can send you the link. Stay up to date by checking that once a month. We talk about the latest scams, what to look for and how to avoid them, and what to do in the event you engage in it. So this is, I'm happy to say, all the banks, all of us are talking the same tune, and we're all working together to try and stop the criminals.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, here is what I promised at the beginning. We've got the top scams of 2024. These are the ones that have really caused most of the problems. There's obviously a lot more, but these are the top 7 that we've seen that we really wanted to make sure we and share it with you so you're aware of them. So investment in crypto scams, right? This is reaching the 1 trillion according to Interpol. This is where they engage with you much like you would with any investment opportunity, and they play the long game where they'll keep connecting with you, building a relationship, and then eventually taking money that they promised would be invested, and away they go, and then you can't find them. So investment in crypto scams are on the rise. Romance scams are on the rise as well. Again, these are folks who are just sitting, waiting, building relationships, just trying to get at that emotional manipulation level where, I had a gentleman from one of the police services tell me about a woman where they caught the guy that was impacting her life, and she refused to press charges because she was in love with him. Just captured her heart, and she just wouldn't, didn't want to press charges, didn't want her money back. She was just enamored with this person. So it's really quite sad, but that's on the rise. That's happening quite a lot. Employment scams, which I found interesting. So you get offers from a recruiter, and then you start providing them with your information, and then next thing you know, you can't find them, they can't be contacted. Well, now they've collected everything: your social insurance number, your home address, your some personal questions, things like that. So that's on the rise as well. Travel and vacation property scams. This is quite increasing, especially within 2024. It increased, and it's how they manage to somehow just convince folks that they own a piece of property, sell it or rent it, and then they're gone. And then you have no access to the property. You've bought a house, but you haven't bought a house, kind of thing. So that's on the rise as well. And of course, artificial intelligence and deepfakes that we're seeing a lot of as well, where it plays into the grandparent scam and the bank impersonation scam, where they will use the voice of someone you know. So if, Karim, you've got lots of videos of yourself on your social media, they'll take that video and impersonate your voice and call your clients. So one tip that I think we gave in the teaser video, but I really want to reiterate it again, is to ensure you establish a code word or phrase with family and friends, so that should someone call you claiming to be your advisor or your son or child or grandchild, you can ask them for this word. And of course, they won't know it because they're the criminals, and then you hang up and disengage. Now, I just wanted to share with you the fact that I just received a public service announcement from the FBI, okay, their cyber division, and it's talking about criminals use generative artificial intelligence to facilitate financial fraud. Guess what their number 1 tip is? And I know you can't add. Yeah.
What is it? I'm dying to find out.
It is create a secret word or phrase with your family to verify their identity.
Oh, wow.
From the FBI. So that is the number 1 tip.
Yeah.
We can give everyone.
So I just want to add here, so this is, Manal gave me this tip last week when we were doing this, and I think it was such a wonderful tip that I went home and we implemented in our family. And for all the viewers here, at some point in 2025, we will be implementing that here as well in our office as well, just for added security. I want to assure everyone who is listening that Manal and Manal's team do a fabulous job of protecting you and your assets. at RBC. The security that we have here is second to none. And that's Manal and her team that do that. So it is very, very safe. But as Manal has said, there's always added things that we can do. And this one tip, I think, is easy to implement for all of us. So I strongly encourage all of you to go home and implement this. We're going to be implementing this in our office as well in 2025. So Manal, thank you. Thank you for the presentation. I really appreciate you going through this. I want to remind everyone got a whole bunch of questions, but I want to remind everyone to email me if there's any questions anybody's got. Please email them to me at karim.visram@rbc.com. Again, karim.visram@rbc.com. Manal, you touched on, I guess, the AI.
Yes.
Risk, as to they can mimic our voices and stuff like that. Now, this is looking into the future and looking into how does one prevent this or defend? Again, we don't know where this technology is going to go into the future. Obviously, having this code that you suggest is one way. Any other suggestions that you may have from our personal life versus business life? How do you prevent our own images being copied and used? Again, we've seen cybercrime and cyberbullying happening and stuff like that. So how does how does one protect themselves from being abused?
Yeah, that's a good question, Karim. So first things first, make sure you go through any of your socials and implement all of the privacy features that are available. Don't leave it public. Implement however many security opportunities there are. So a lot of them have the double step, right? The security questions in addition to your password, implement those. And then the other thing we're trying really hard to champion is the oversharing, where we're doing too much sharing. We're posting too much out there. And so that's what the criminals are relying on, right? They're sitting there building profiles about us for an identity theft situation, right? The more we put out there, the more content we have. One tip I have for folks, if you Google your name, you'll see where you appear, right, on the net. So if there's too many places, like I know I'm on LinkedIn, but I'm not on anything else. So if I Google my name and I see that I'm connected to something, if maybe I forgot I established an account on some social network, I'll delete that account. Or if a friend of mine has, I don't let my kids, their videos that their friends take do not go online. That is just not allowed. I don't want my children's image online by anybody. So it's just the oversharing. We're oversharing online and we're not keeping it private, and that's how they get us.
And if they do get us, is there, reporting to the police, is that the only thing that one can do? Or is there, is there an organization out there that one can hire to at least have these images deleted or something? Is there services out there available? Because our police services are overwhelmed, and my guess is, and you correct me if I'm wrong, this would not be high in the priority if one of our images is compromised, and so they're not going to jump at it. So what can one family do if their children are being abused? I think what are the other options other than going to the authorities?
Going to your authorities is your first step. I mean, they've boosted their cybersecurity divisions substantially over the last couple of years. What they tell you is if there is engagement and they're able to look into it, right? So if you know that the image was stolen, it was used somewhere, they can do forensic investigation, right? But if you see it somewhere and you're not sure how it got there or who took it, it's challenging, right? Because there needs to be something for them to look into. If you can't, for example, we were physically robbed. There's only so much they can do, even in those instances, right? Our items were gone, unless they've got specialists in the pawn shops looking for things. They're not, those things aren't retrievable. So it has to be something that they can investigate. So with that as well, you contact Equifax, because then it's an identity issue. But if it's for kids, right, they don't have financial accounts yet or whatever. It's just lock it down, like just make it private. That's really the key.
That's a key thing. Okay. Another question sort of coming in, is there one place in the world that these bad guys are located? Is there, so where's all this, so the new mafia or the new, criminal gangs, where are they located? Is it
in the globe, you mean?
Yeah, in the globe. Are they located in Canada, the U.S., Europe, Eastern Europe? Or is it all over? There's no one central location.
I wish I could say there's one spot and we can just send the police right there and then take care of them all in one go. They're everywhere. They're everywhere. They're around the corner. They're across the globe. They're everywhere. So
they're everywhere. Yeah. So so that's why they're hard to track.
Yes, very hard.
Right. Hard to track, yeah, unfortunately. Okay. I've got one last comment to make, just for everyone's sake. Again, one of the security features we have here at Dominion Securities and RBC in general is for anyone who deals with us, there's no way to transfer funds out of your account. That's right. Other than going through yours truly. So yours truly here has to authorize any funds going out. So that's an added level of security that all of our clients have, and that, I have to be convinced for the reasons where the funds are going and stuff like that. So I have to have the final approval on that. So that's an added level of security that we have here. Manal, before we end, any last thoughts, last tip, for the audience?
Keep learning. Like I said, check out RBC's scam alert page on a monthly basis. Make sure you're learning about the latest scams that are out there, and just stay vigilant and set up that code word with your family.
Yeah. Well, Manal, thank you so much for the great presentation and great suggestions. I myself have implemented many of your suggestions, and I'm going to do even more. Thank you, everyone who were able to dial in to join us, and thank you, everyone who send me your questions. If you have any further follow-up questions for Manal, please feel free to email them to me, and I'll be sure to have Manal, comment on any questions that you may have. Before we end, I want to wish all of you a very Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and a Happy New Year. I hope you and your family and your loved ones have a wonderful time together, and safe holidays, and hopefully we will all connect in the new year. Our next quarterly webinar will be in mid-January. I will send out all the details out for that. Please be on the lookout. Give me any suggestions, anyone you may have, that what the next topic should be. This topic was a suggestion from one of our previous viewers. So again, thank you, Manal. Thank you, everyone who dialed in. Happy holidays, and everyone, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Thank you, Karim. Thanks, everyone.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.